mistake last night. Maybe I can make it right. Said I'm close to maybe.
Welcome back to another video, guys. In this one we're going to be doing the bull bar on the Mitsubishi L300 Delica van. So I have made this entire bull bar and I filmed it all, so sit back and enjoy.
So this is the factory bumper for the L300.
And some of this bumper is trimmed, as you can see. I've cut sort of this whole bottom lip off the bumper because I'd also removed the whole step. I'd cut the guards, but I have not cut anything off this, but I'm thinking about cutting up to here. So this door's quite damaged and I've got a new one. This is a new door off two-wheel drive van, way better condition, but it's the same thing. So if I cut here and don't like it, I'll just, you know, put the other door on and use the other door anyway. But I want to test with this door if I like it or not, because that way I can angle the bumper to the center and then back out to the door. And when I get around to the rear bumper, I'll do a very similar thing, but this is getting tire carrier and all sorts of things on the back of this, including jerry cans.
Okay, so now we've got the front bumper off, I can start thinking about where I'm going to mount the winch and things like that, and then build the bumper around that.
So it's coming together. I've made that corner and this little centerpiece. So this is what's going to bolt the chassis, and then that there I folded at the top. The gap on the bottom will not be there when I replace the door because this door's a bit munted and it's meant to be straight. And I also bent it inwards. I've tacked that on to the hinge. It's not going to be how it attaches, but I just want to hold that there because I will be making it bolt up to that piece there, which is where the factory bumper bolts up. I wouldn't usually bolt a bumper to the body panels, but this is a uni body, so basically the chassis and the body is welded together, where something like the Land Cruiser is rubber mounted chassis to the body, so they move between each other. It does not do that, so it's going to be fine. And it also means that I can have my gaps a lot closer together. Okay, so I've made this much, so the center piece and then the sides. It's sitting up roughly. It's just literally like this piece here is just sitting over this piece, but that's the center of the base. That's where the winch is going to be. And now we've just got to build the sides. I feel like I've gone back in time to when I used to do things in my driveway on gravel. But the way I'm going to do this is tape. I'll show you in a sec. So now I've got a shape on the side that I think I like. I added in this wee piece here too to sort of finish the corner, to more make it wrap around rather than a sharp corner. And then I just taped it up because it was a wee bit easier than making cardboard templates because they stay there. And then I just labelled 1, 2, and then 2's match. And 3, I should write 3 on there. And then I'll stick them onto steel and then sort of trace around them and cut them out. I just folded up one of these ends, which kind of looks like that, which goes into there, which I'm going to put that in very, very shortly. Okay, so it's getting dark now. I've worked on it a wee bit. I'm going to change this corner here just because I didn't like it, and I'm going to put some lights in the corner here, which I'm about to cut. So I brought these lights here. They were going to be on the 80 series bumper, but then I changed my mind, so I'm going to put them on this bumper pretty much right there. And these lights are from the 80 series. They have halo rings and then they have indicator rings, and then the center is a normal fog light. I'm going to use these ones, and I'm just going to buy some more for the 80. Alrighty guys, this is where I got up to yesterday. Next time I do something like this outside, I'm going to spin it around because facing cameras into the sun is a no-go. So I'll finish this corner bit off. That triangle there I need to just make a filler panel for. I know that for now for when I do this side. This is angled in, so when my LEDs are sitting in the bar, they're aiming forward rather than out, and then the tubes in there are for these ones, which the camera's not picking up either. Where I did the exact same thing on the 80 series bar, worked out really well.
I folded up an end exactly the same as the driver's side for the passenger side, and then tacked that in.
So I have been doing some other things in between doing this because it is a Monday, but it's looking good. I just have to cut the pieces out, same as this side, for the lights, and then I'll take it off and fully weld it. So I've made these two little bits of cardboard sticking up, where I'm thinking about making hoops. I do think it looks better. So this is just cardboard. It sort of follows the line of the bar and then goes straight. I think I'm going to make them out of steel. Kind of like I did on the 80 series.
But before I do that, I'm going to cut out these areas on the other side for the lights and get it all looking symmetrical before I go and build the hoops and everything like that.
If I could do it in a drill press, I'd definitely use a hole saw, but it's not a perfect hole either because it's on an angle, so it's got a bit more trimming to do. But basically, when it is in there that way, it's not a perfect circle anyway, so it would need a lot of grinding and trimming anyway. So I don't feel like I did it the long way at all. Doesn't look like too much at the moment. After a wee bit of playing around, I think I like this. I don't know. The bar looks a little bit high at the same time, but then I wanted it in the middle of like the grill and then this sort of swage line. I think I've just got to stop being too fussy and kind of just deal with it. Because it looks a lot better than anything on the market or anything I've seen on a van before. So I think I should just finish it and stop spending time on it, because I've spent way too much time on this bar alone. That's kind of a side view, and then like a down the car view. It sticks out a little bit, but like it sticks out nowhere near as much as these wheels and what these flares are going to be. I look at it from a distance, and then that's it from a distance. So I think I'll just finish the other side exactly the same and just do it. Okay, so this is where I'm at. I ended up taking those straights off. I used a piece of box, and then I made the bottom like sort of flare out wider so it didn't look like a piece of box. I'm currently doing this side. I just stuck tape to it so I can get a template of the hole, because I cut it out. Now there's a hole there because obviously this has gone wider and angled in. But once I've done these uprights, and then I just took this off this little bar here, and I'm going to make the same thing for that side, and then I'll tack it all together and I'll take it off and fully weld it. I just cut that little piece to fit in there. The other side is the same. Now I'm just cutting the pipes, measured off that. And also these little bends here are the 90s like that I've just cut down. I'm going to cut this down a little bit more because this is what I cut that off. Right, so I've done quite a bit. I've done hoops on both sides, the center stays, which I'm about to make tops rounded and cap them off where that line is, and then it'll go on top of that. So basically I'll cut through there and then in half again, so it'll be a half round top, and then that'll weld straight on top of that, of course, on these ones. And then I'll cut sort of down here on the back, and then round this off, and then place it on top, and then weld round, and that's done. Just like this. Just like that.
So now I've got it on the trestle and I've welded the caps up properly. I'm about to weld around where the tubes are, but pretty much this is just going to be a welding day.
Okay, so it's really hot today. It's like 30 degrees, but I've been welding all of this all around here. It's not the prettiest welding, but I don't really care. I'm just trying to get it done as quick as possible, and there was a lot of like holes to kind of fill because my cutting on this side wasn't the best. But I'm not really worried about that. This is mine. Last thing I need to do is drill some holes in this, which is quite hot, because the winch goes in behind here, and fit these lights properly on both sides. I'm trying to get that done tonight. It's currently almost 5 o'clock, and I do want to put Christmas lights on this van, but I want to finish this first and get photos of this on the van, show you guys, and then I'll do the Christmas lights. I've been welding this bull bar pretty much all day. The thing that's taken a long time is building these pieces that my lights bolt into. And that's what it looks like from the outside. And now I'm currently doing this side. So that's sort of the start of it. And then I did make little plates for the back of these also. and a plate across the top because I never had anything here and I wanted to sort of make an edge. Alrighty guys, so I got this fitting how I want it to. I changed it around a little bit, like I think I showed you before, sort of the plate. Now I'm doing this side. I've also got the van in the shed today because it's raining outside. So this little piece of cardboard that I cut is going to go in the top there. Fill that in, and then I can cut down sort of where that is, weld that in. I've put the bottom piece in, and then that is how I make my lights sit in the bar but aim forward, even though the bar sort of slopes back. I think it just makes it look cool too. It makes it sort of fit the triangle and then have the big light in there. I'm going to cut this in steel. I'm going to complete welding the whole bar, and then I'll probably show you guys sort of when it's done. But cardboard is your best friend doing this kind of stuff. I use it all the time.
And now the bar is fully welded and I'm letting it cool down. I have time to do the winch plate. So this is the template I made out of cardboard, and then I cut out of steel later on. And then I did bend both sides and sit it in between the chassis and then sit the winch on top of that. This winch, I'm probably going to get a new one. It is from the 80 series, just a Ridge Rider winch. But I'm using that because all winches are pretty much the same size, all low mount winches. And then I also made parts on the bottom that comes from the bolt holes down to the chassis, and then capping off all the front pieces too, and that's what I made these cardboard templates for. Which, looking underneath, you can see the parts that come from the winch bolt holes down to the chassis, and that's just going to make it way stronger and essentially part of the chassis rather than just a flat plate that will bend. And then these parts of the chassis are also getting welded up and capped off because I've cut them on an angle. And with the cardboard removed, you can see that angle piece, so I'm happy with that. I made one for the other side, so this is the one for the other side. I just got to bend it in the same angle and put that one in also. And then I take it over to my sheet metal folder, clamp it down and fold corner to corner from the same angle as the other one, and that is pretty much that. And then for the test fit, and I need to fold it a little bit more. But once I got the angle I wanted, heading over to the drill press, and I can drill these holes, and this is where the winch bolts to the plate.
Right, so this is what it looks like. So I put the bolt in there just to hold it. I am going to tack weld it in, and then I'm going to take it off, trim up areas like, if it's going to focus, like here. I just want to trim around this because this is the speedo cable and I don't want it to wear through, so I'll get full clearance of that. That hose there, it's got clearance of that, so that's fine, but I'll just notch out that little area there, and once I've done that, I'll re-drill the holes for the winch plate just a little bit bigger, and then plate the front of these and everything like that, and then I'll place it back on because I want to be able to weld this plate to this plate with it upside down so I get a good weld, because overhead welding isn't as good of welding as it is like sitting flat on the ground. So I'll do that. And then the winch plate will mostly be done. I'm going to sand it up because it's got surface rust on it because I did have it sitting outside and it rained. Now I'm also wondering if I drill holes with the hole saw in this bottom plate here, because this bottom plate goes all the way to the bottom here and then all the way through this section, so it will allow air to go through and sort of up into the radiator there a bit more. I think it would be best. I just don't know if it's going to ruin the look of it or not, so I'm going to decide that sort of as I go through. Alright, so the bracket is like kind of made. I haven't took it off and fully welded it yet. I just put some bolts in there. As you can see, they're not, it's literally just to hold it from slipping around. And I'm going to try the bumper on just to double check that everything fits before I go and weld the whole thing to the chassis. But that winch up there in the chassis just looks beast. Alright, let's put the bar on and see what it looks like. Okay, so that's perfect. Basically what I was making sure of was, if I was to cut a hole in here and put this behind the bar. I'll show you what I mean by that soon. That it's not going to touch the winch, and it's not. I think I need to put it about there somewhere. Okay, so I've taken the bar back off. My original plan was to sort of make this in there, flush to the top and flush to the bottom. But once I cut this out and I put it in, I actually thought this is going to be way better. So if I can hold it in there, sort of like make, I'll weld it and I'll show you guys what I mean. I welded a little bit more than what I planned to at the beginning, but see how it now overlaps and then it kind of disappears here. So it will look a lot better. I'll take it off and I'll grind it up and tidy it up and make it look a lot nicer. But the look I was going for, because see how that front's going to overlap? Because I'm going to cap the front of this, and then that'll overlap, and then this will all overlap, and then like the sides also all overlap. So I think it will just sort of give it more of a factory feel. And now we'll do the other side.
Alright, so I took it off and I welded everything up, and now I've got to put it back on where the chassis rails actually narrow in the front and get wider at the back. So it was challenging to do this, but I got it back on, and then I welded that up, which I'll show you guys later. But now I'm cutting the hole for my winch because I plan on putting the fairlead behind the bar. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. So hole saw on both sides, and then I just, with the angle grinder, going to cut between both of these hole saws, and then I get a nice oval, which allows the fairlead to sit in behind it like this, so you'll just see that like sort of oval aluminium piece, and you won't see the whole fairlead where the bolt holes and everything are. I personally think it looks a lot better, but let me know in the comments, would you have just done the fairlead normal on the front or done it like I have? So I've just welded bolts to it, and then I cut the heads off, and that's how I'm going to attach the fairlead to the back. So put the fairlead on and then nuts on the studs. Alright guys, hopefully the audio is all good because I'm doing this with my iPhone because my camera is currently at home. But the bumper is now finished. It is just primer. When I decide what colour to paint it, I'm still thinking desert tan. Not sure yet, because if I do, I don't know if to leave the bumper black, do the car desert tan, or if to try and like colour match the bar. I'm really not sure. I just think it might be a little hard because these areas here is sort of part of the bar, so this would have to be colour matched all the way around. Not sure. That's something that I'll decide when I come to it. But these are the lights in. The indicators I have wired up. The rest I have not. Okay, so turn the indicators back off. So these lights here are very, very bright. I'm going to put them on my website. And then these lights here are, so there's a white ring, and then there's the indicator ring, and the white ring stays on, and then when you turn the indicator off, the white ring turns off, and then the indicators turn on. Hopefully that makes sense. And then in the very center is a fog light, which I think they're LED. And so these are lights, and of course the other side, and then these lights I also replaced with HIDs. So hopefully the lighting on this is a lot better, and then soon I'm going to put my light bar on the roof, but I need a roof rack for that. So the lighting in the front of this should be really, really good. I also got the winch in, but I also have not connected the power because this is a van, so it was a little bit hard. It wasn't harder, but I need longer wires because the battery, it needs to go from there to just behind the seat here. I've also got the rock lights in, so I'm probably going to put these on my website too. They're just screwed in. I didn't use the factory hardware because I didn't want to put a nut on the backside, because some of them, like the rear, I can't get to the backside because it's double skinned. But I've got them in anyway. They're looking pretty good. The lights are RGB. I can do heaps of colors, but this video is more based on the bull bar, and I am really happy with it. Let me know what you guys think. I was going to stop at the hoops, but I'm really glad I did the hoops. Anyway, that was my Mitsubishi L300 Delica bull bar. If you like this, please give it a like. Comment what you might have done differently or what you like about it. Also, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. We've hit 5k. That is awesome. I really want to hit 10k, and then next year the goal is 100k because I really want that YouTube plaque.